Okay, what do New Orleans, Houston, New Jersey, and New York all have in common? Okay, besides, yes, they've had some of the least intimidating team names in pro sports. I mean, Pelicans, Oilers, Nets, Jets. I mean, what even is that? Okay, but what else do they have in common? These big American cities all got hammered with big disasters, and Congress stepped up to help them rebuild. Yes, with FEMA, we've all heard of FEMA, but have you heard of CBDGDR? That's Scrabble for permanent rebuilding. FEMA's for the emergency stuff, temporary, urgent, sandbags now. But the Housing and Urban Development Agency pays for the big stuff, all the stuff that's supposed to last long after the storm is gone. Katrina, $5.2 billion in HUD money. Harvey, $5.7 billion. Sandy, $2.5 billion. It's a real program, and it has a real name, too. Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery. That's your full acronym. It rebuilds the part of a community that FEMA can't touch. Renters, vacant buildings that nobody owns, whole blocks. And Missouri's actually seen money from this program before. So let's check the record, because this part can show just how transformative this all can be. After Joplin, the HUD money that came to Missouri was larger than what FEMA gave to individual households. The fourth leg of that stool was substantial. Now, some critics have suggested, well, you can't really compare Joplin to North St. Louis. Turns out, we can. In Joplin, the Small Business Administration doled out $20.4 million in disaster loans. And in St. Louis, the Small Business Administration has already surpassed that much with $23.3 million. But the EF5, it was far more powerful. Sure, true. On the ground, Joplin was absolutely devastating. And there, FEMA paid out $37.1 million to cover individuals and households. In St. Louis, FEMA's already spent $52.6 million on that same category, individuals and households. In Joplin, FEMA paid out $157.3 million in public assistance, and in St. Louis right now at this stage, that number's a lot smaller, just $60 million, maybe more to come. So it turns out you can actually compare St. Louis and Joplin, different storms, but the FEMA money, not actually all that different in some totals. You know what was different though? HUD money, the fourth leg of that stool. Joplin got $110.2 million. St. Louis, zero. Maybe you're thinking, well, Joplin was huge. Of course, everyone remembers Joplin. Of course, that storm got HUD disaster funds. Well, let me ask you, do you remember the storms that hit Missouri in 2017 or 2019 or 2022? Maybe you remember one of them, but all three? Because Congress remembered all three of them. What are we supposed to make of a record like that? Apparently, Congress only acts when a disaster is so enormous, so catastrophic, so nationally televised that it becomes politically impossible not to. A whole city underwater, a coastline destroyed, something that makes the nightly news for weeks. A tornado that tears through a low-income black neighborhood on the north side of a Midwestern city. Apparently, that's more of a let's see what happens situation. Maybe they'll pull themselves up by their bootstraps. What is the bar for federal action here? If you're waiting for someone in Washington to explain that to you in plain English, so am I. The cruel conclusion that we're left with is maybe our disaster just wasn't big enough. Our neighborhood not famous enough. Our suffering wasn't televised enough. If by some chance someone in Washington is hoping you just forget all that, will you let them? That's our show. Until next time, we're off the record.